Hola, buenos dias. This is Kai Pacha with the weekly Pele report, coming to you from the cactus garden. If you can't tell, it's May 22nd, and if you've been to Barcelona, maybe you've been up here. This is amazing. So look at those ones over there. This is really tripped out, right? Anyway, for the astrology of the day, in the city, Gemini rules the city. Sun conjunct Mercury in the city, in Gemini. And, the moon is moving along through Capricorn, which, has a lot to do with business. So we're doing business in the city. Sun conjunct Mercury, Gemini. Moon moving through Capricorn Thursday. Tomorrow she goes into Aquarius. And after Aquarius, by Saturday, she moves into Pisces for the square moon on Sunday. Sun square moon at 5 degrees 9 minutes. You can see it in that chart at the beginning of the report. And you can see also black moon Lilith conjunct the moon, square the sun. She's traveling retrograde through Pisces. And what we've got going on, if you look at that chart closely, it's pretty interesting. If you are into astrology and you know your chart, okay, you will see that we've got, this weekend, the sun, Mercury, Chiron, Uranus, Lilith, and Mars are all between 3 and 7 degrees of the respective signs that they are in. So if you have any planets between 3 and 7 degrees, okay, of any signs, you are getting aspected. Things are opening, things are triggering for you in a very big way, and I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that. The Sun and Mercury moving along through Gemini. Mars is in sextile to Uranus. And today, as I'm doing this report right now, and I could feel it coming up here, the moon occults Saturn and Pluto. That means that, she completely hides them. They are blocked out. Pretty heavy. Yeah? Then I want to, today I mostly want to be talking a little bit about all of this energy going on with Jupiter in square to Neptune, which has been going, is going on for most of this year. But what's coming up is this Sun and Mercury are going to be moving closer and closer into and in conjunct. Gemini is in, well, it's going to make a T-square. Let me just look at the camera and talk about what all of this stuff means. I just want to give you the shot of all these, the beautiful nature here. Pretty amazing for being so close to the city. All right, everybody. I got so distracted with all these cactus there at the beginning that I didn't really say what it is I want to talk to you about today and what the mantra is based upon very powerfully is Mars in the early degrees of Cancer, where Mars is going to be until the 1st of July. Mars transiting through Cancer. This is a fire planet in a water sign. It's going to be triggering a lot of things from the past, our childhood, our mother issues, our need for emotional connection, our emotional insecurities and fears. And tomorrow, exact square to Chiron, the wounded healer, in the sign of Aries, which is ruled by Mars. So we've got this double kind of a thing going on here where there is a challenge. And the square is Mars breaking away from Chiron. It's a 90-degree square. And, you know, when I see these, you know, that issues, that to me is the deep, what, you know, an opening up of deep wounds to the masculine. And this, you know, Chiron in Aries, wound to the masculine, is my fear of being impotent, of not being strong, hard, able to survive, to get what I want. And so it inhibits the natural, flowing, spontaneous, I can do kind of attitude. So this is, you know, this is an 8-year, you know, transit of Chiron through Aries, transiting for 8 years, working with healing the wounded masculine within each and every one of us. We are all both yin and yang, extroverted, introverted, exhaling, inhaling, creating, receiving. So, you know, this Aries energy is create, breathe out, go for it, do it. What's blocking that? It can be shame. It can be guilt. It can be fear of inadequacy, that I'm not enough, that I'm going to be overpowered, that nobody cares, that I'm just like a wet noodle. And so Mars coming through Cancer brings up these emotional needs, issues, fears, memories from the past. And of course, when we're babies, we don't have very much power. We're at the mercy of mom and dad and brothers and sisters and teachers and whoever. I mean, you know, as kids, we are powerless. You know, it's like, feed me, clothe me, put a roof over my head, please. You know, I mean, so this can like really trigger our issues around abandonment, our issues around neglect, our issues around not being nurtured or cared for. Can be coming up between now and July as Mars moves through Cancer, but particularly as it squares Chiron, we may not be able to express, assert, communicate, and share those needs directly. And so what else is going on? This is why I was talking about this Sun, Mercury through Gemini, the trickster, the joker, sometimes the BSer, the car salesman, the expedient, what's, you know, in the moment now happening. I mean, it reminds me, I had this guy yesterday, like, I mean, elephants are like my favorite animal. I think that they are like the matriarchs of the planet. I'm sitting at this sidewalk cafe here, you know, with Laura, and, you know, this guy comes up, "You've got the most beautiful wife. I am from Africa." And he throws down 2 of these bracelets on the table. "I give you these for free. You are amazing, beautiful, wonderful, yeah? You know, and I am going to have a baby, yeah? You know, my wife is going to have a baby. Do you have some money that you can give me, you know, for these bracelets, for the baby, you know?" And I'm like, well, you know, and I reach in my pocket, I pull out, I've got a couple of euros, you know, I mean, I give him, you know, a couple of euros, and he's like, "You got more for the baby, more for the baby." I'm like, you know, that's all the change I've got. So he takes one of the bracelets back and goes walking off, because the waiter in the meantime came up and stood right there at the corner of the table, shaking his head. And then when the guy leaves, you know, the waiter goes, "That guy has been having that baby for 2 years." This kind of brings up, you know, lies. Lies. This has to do with the mantra for this week. The stories that we tell ourselves and the stories that we tell other people. We can lie to ourselves. And there's one thing, if we want to think really deeply, that if we are being lied to and the world is a mirror, it means that somewhere we are lying to ourselves. If we are getting lied to, we are lying to ourselves. We're pretending, avoiding, denying our deepest inner feeling, and we're making up stories that this relationship is okay, that this job is okay, that, you know, this life I'm leading is okay. Because if I were to admit to myself or to my partner or to my boss that it's not okay, I would have to deal with a whole lot of deep feelings, fears, insecurities, issues that are painful, sad, grief, that I'm not happy. So, you know, let's ignore. Gemini can, you know, these air signs, you know, and this Saturn Pluto is really bringing in, you know, bringing up deep insecurities. And Mars through Cancer is going to oppose. You just wait a couple more weeks. Mars is going to come into this opposition with the node, South Node, Saturn and Pluto, and it's really going to come up. But right now, with the Sun and Mercury moving through Gemini, I'm just saying, it's going to come up and square Neptune, oppose Jupiter, and this brings me into the whole issue around 2019 of discerning what is true and making it you. We just have all kinds of lies, false teachings, false gurus, political leaders lying, hiding, sneaking, denying. There's just like this whole, the whole shadow of our collective, you know, hiding things from ourselves, from our partners, from our, you know, family, from... This is what this Jupiter square Neptune for 2019 is really about. The end of illusion. Stop the lies. Stop it. So that's why, you know, we can kind of come into, and, you know, and it's just like we can, you know, not only lie, but then we can also be, how can I say, you know, other people lying to us. Our partners pretending, okay, and saying one thing, but then kind of sneaking around. Like, you know, if I'm insecure, or I'm feeling like you're not seeing me enough, touching me enough, nurturing me enough, emotionally, you're not mothering me or taking care of me enough, I can do what? If I'm afraid to bring it up and ask, could you just snuggle with me a little more? You know, could you just hold me? I want to be, you know, if I don't want to do that, maybe I'll go to, you know, and I'll just kind of drop that, you know, oh yeah, I was talking to so-and-so on Facebook, and I was chatting with so-and-so on Instagram, all my old partners, or, you know, these new, you know, friends on this, that, or the other thing, you know, and kind of, you know, try to, like, you know, inadvertently make my partner jealous. And then, okay, if my partner's jealous, you know, they trigger, you know, we can like trigger other people's insecurities out of our insecurities, so, you know, so that they will come closer and meet our needs. This is indirect communication. Gemini can do this stuff, man. And then when it comes into this, square, Moon Lilith, Moon conjunct Lilith in Pisces, squaring, okay, this Sun Mercury, this can be, the wrong use of seduction, the wrong use of our sexuality, just kind of trying to, get the other one, manipulate. Manipulate the other person's emotions to meet our needs. So what we can do is when we see dynamics happening in our relationships, we can use them to look at, oh, what's under that? If that's a story, maybe there's a feeling I'm trying to hide, ignore, deny, or avoid. And evolutionary astrology, new paradigm astrology tells us we evolve through our emotions. By feeling our feelings, we get to know our true self. So erase the stories and get into the feelings, and that is your starting point to grow. Ow! Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Come on, baby. I think, if you don't get it with the examples and the stories and the guy and all this kind of other thing, then, what can I say? Just say the mantra. These mantras are meant to be said. I say these mantras over and over again, 100 times through the week, and this energy, brings in. The mantra is a mantra. It brings in the consciousness. It brings in an awareness. So it is really good. I hope that you use these mantras to their fullest potential. Yeah? So I need to watch the stories I create for what I do. Yeah? As the needs and fears that lie beneath are what make or break me and you. We're all justifying. It's like if I do something, if I make that phone call, or I, throw that dish, or I, raise my voice, we justify. We have to. It's like, oh yeah, I got all pissed off because blah, 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 blah. Really? Maybe you got all pissed off because of something else, and your Sun, Mercury, Gemini stuff is kind of, making up this, story of about, or, oh, I left that partner because, okay, or I'm not happy because, and we just, yeah. We create la 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 la. This is how we create our reality. We create our reality by telling ourselves different stories. And sometimes the stories are true. And they are accurate. And there's a vibration that everybody can feel. It's like, yeah, I feel that's true. That's true. I resonate with that story. So it's not so much a story. That's when our stories become reality. And our stories reflect reality. And that is raising consciousness, raising the vibration. That's liberation and enlightenment, is when they're not stories anymore. We are transparent, and there's no more stories. It's just, this is how I'm feeling. This is my reality. I'm not trying to be right or be superior or, you know, be loved or da da da. I just, and we move into absolute, authentic expression. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. One more time if I can remember it. I need to watch my stories. I create for what I do as the feelings and fears, or the needs and fears, or the fears and needs that lie beneath are what make or break me and you. May you make it. Namaste. Aloha. So much love.